Eagles need one more win to clinch the top seed in the NFC playoffs. They will be without quarterback Jalen Hurts on Saturday. Head coach Nick Sirianni said today Gardner Minshew will be our guy, and Gardner will be ready. Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott on his recent ups and downs.
When you're in a rut, I guess you can call this, as I've talked about, whether one way or another the other team's getting their hands on the balls. I can't allow that to change the way that I'm playing this game. I'm not going to allow that to change my confidence in myself or my confidence in the guys that I'm throwing it to or the way that I approach this game.
Prescott won at least one interception in 4 straight games, 10 since returning from a thumb injury back in week number 7. Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson is going to miss his 3rd straight game on Saturday. Tyler Huntley is going to make the start for the Ravens against Atlanta. Commanders defensive end Chase Young will make his season debut against the 49ers on Saturday. Young has been practicing since early November, but he has not played since week 10 of last season after he tore the ACL in his right knee.
Hi, this is Max Kellerman from Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. All of us here at ESPN Radio would like to wish you happy holidays and a happy new year.
If you having take problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but a Chris ain't one. Hit me.
Now, from the ESPN studios in New York City, this is Canty and Carlin on ESPN Radio.
Trevor drops, looks, pump fake, fires in the back of the end zone. The ball's caught! Touchdown, Zay Jones!
I give Jacksonville a huge edge at quarterback in this game. Trevor Lawrence has been one of the best quarterbacks in the league over the last few weeks.
I think it says a ton about Doug Peterson. You know, the tape sets the floor and the character sets the ceiling. And now we look at Trevor Lawrence, and this league has a lot of bright young superstars, and Trevor Lawrence could go to the head of the class.
It can turn quickly in the NFL, and that's exactly what it's done for the Jacksonville Jaguars as we discuss them with their game coming up tonight against the Jets. It's Canty and Carlin, ESPN Radio, ESPN app. You can also catch us on SiriusXM at Channel 80. I'm Gabe Neitzel. He's Randy Scott. We are in for the guys, and Canty and Carlin is presented by Progressive Insurance. Trevor Lawrence is a huge reason that Jacksonville has been able to turn their season around. Last 6 games, 14 touchdown passes, just 1 interception. Not shockingly, Jacksonville 4-2 in their last 6 games. On SportsCenter all night last night, here is what Mike DiRocco, the ESPN NFL Nation Jaguars reporter, had to say about Trevor Lawrence and when exactly he turned his season around.
It was probably the worst game he's played. And he said he sat in that locker room after the game and was like, look, I don't want to feel like this anymore. I can't feel like this anymore. And he said, look, I didn't change the amount of film study I did or the amount of preparation I did. He said it's just a matter of we're at the point in the season where I'm starting to be more familiar with the offense. I'm starting to run these plays multiple times. I'm starting to have a bank of experiences that I can recall. So that kind of stuff has certainly been the biggest difference.
So that was the game he was referencing, not feeling great, was against the Denver Broncos, a game they lost 21-17. And then he went on this run over the last 6 games that he's been able to go on. And it just kind of shows you, guys kind of develop at different times. And it was almost, I don't know, I almost give him a redshirt year last year, Randy, the way that everything transpired in Jacksonville. And it seemed like there was a new story coming out each and every week about Urban Meyer and how he had ticked off one of his players in the locker room. So he kind of got the reset, and he was going to take him a little bit of time to kind of get on the same page as his new head coach in Doug Peterson. But now that he is, we're starting to see the Trevor Lawrence we thought we were going to see when he was that number 1 pick coming out of Clemson.
Doug Peterson doesn't get enough credit, man. And give plenty of credit to Trevor Lawrence. You're right, because there have been, younger, talented quarterbacks who have just folded, understandably so, but just thrown in the towel and spit the bit, whatever you want to say. I mean, have just looked at that coaching adversity and said, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be a part of this. I've got to listen to this rah-rah dude, taking a career and maybe a financial victory lap, and he's kicking our kicker at practice, and I've got to take direction from him as I'm still trying to get my feet under me as an NFL quarterback. Like that would have broken and has broken. That sort of upheaval has broken other quarterbacks. But Doug Peterson, he's not top of mind when it comes to offensive gurus and geniuses in the NFL, right? It's the Kyle Shanahans and the Sean McVays. But Peterson is just the kind of steady influence that a quarterback like that, a truly broken quarterback, a box of disjointed puzzle pieces, and that needs help getting put back together. Peterson deserves a ton of credit, man, and they have been playing their best football as the season's gone on. It's been really cool to see them build.
Yeah, I mean, he won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles starting at quarterback, and things kind of fell apart quickly after that in Philadelphia with Carson Wentz and the way and I think that's kind of been forgotten a little bit because of how quickly that franchise in Philadelphia has rebounded from that. But to me, Doug Peterson did the smart thing. If we want to talk about smart coaches, he gets let go, and he probably could have taken a number of different jobs last year. Instead, he kind of sits back, waits for a job that, this one's intriguing. I get to work with this young prospect who has that kind of talent. He sees that opportunity in Jacksonville and goes down there, and now you're starting to see that success. To me, I'm 100% with you in that Doug Peterson does not get enough credit for being the smart offensive mind that we've seen him be.
Yeah, no, he's not top of that list. He took, having that gap after the Eagles run, like not just taking the next train leaving, sort of being able to pick his spot. It's the rare Super Bowl winning coach, available in free agency. And so for him, it's sort of, if you're Trevor Lawrence and you get blessed by that choice, Doug Peterson chooses you. Not just the team, not just the location and the division and whatever else, but chooses you as the quarterback he's going to hitch his professional future to. That's a tremendous vote of confidence, and I guarantee that's how Peterson would have presented it. Not as a, don't put any undue pressure on yourself here. This isn't, oh man, I have to now, play for my NFL future and your NFL coaching future. It's Doug Peterson being like, we are in this, we are in lockstep, we are in this together. Let's find concepts. Let's identify things that you not only do well, but that you feel comfortable doing. Let's get you some layups in the middle of a game. Let's move the chains. Let's be able to, identify things that route trees with our talented receivers that you feel like work. And I'll say this, man, that signing of Christian Kirk at the time, do you remember that was sort of that first?
Oh, everybody was dunking on it. Like, what are they doing? I can't believe they gave all that money to Christian Kirk.
And it was that first financial domino to fall in the wide receiver market. How good does that signing look now?
Oh, dude's almost got 1,000. He's going to go over 1,000 yards before the season is said and done. He's been a great target all year long for Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, Again, it's one of those where it has worked out, and I remember everybody dunking on it. Everybody just, man, I can't believe the Jaguars are this desperate that they're going out and they're signing the number 3 receiver to that kind of money and thinking he can be a well, he's gone out and shown he can be a number 1 in this league for an up-and-coming offense. The one question around the Jags, though, are we buying in too soon? Because too late. Because now, despite having this losing record, despite trailing the Tennessee Titans in their division, they're the favorite to win the AFC South. Do you still think that they're going to be able to get this done and come out on top and be a playoff team?
I do, because we've seen Tennessee, even with a healthy Ryan Tannehill, come back to the pack a little bit. And I don't believe that the drop off from Tannehill to Malik Willis is as precipitous, or, as people might say. But I think that it's a combination of the Titans losing, their offensive steady hand on the field. Derrick Henry is starting to show some of the wear from when you're pushing 300 carries again this season. So it's the Titans stalling combined with the fact that Jacksonville is clicking. They are figuring things out on the fly. The schedule's a little advantageous. They can't afford to stub their toe tonight against Zach Wilson. You hate for the team from Florida to come up to have to play in the cold rain, not just wind and rain, but wind chills in the lower 30s tonight. That's going to be tough. The thing that gives me pause is winning is contagious. And if you haven't caught that bug recently, you kind of forget how to do it. And I say that to say this, the Jaguars have won 2 straight. They haven't won 3 straight since 2017. So they'll jump up and get you. They'll jump up and get the Cowboys like they did last week. Can you sustain it? It's one thing to hang with the teams that where really not much is expected of you. It's another to beat the teams you're supposed to beat. And that's what tonight is.
Yeah, and on the other side of the team they're chasing for the Titans, they've lost 4 in a row. So when you're then going to your backup quarterback and your offense has already struggled and the most points you've scored in a game this year is only 27, Yeah, I can see that kind of slipping away from you really quickly if you happen to be the Tennessee Titans, despite Mike Vrabel being the coach that he has been and being an incredibly good coach to keeping that roster as competitive as it has all season long. You can join our conversation, 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. That's the Dr. Pepper call-in line right here on Canty and Carlin. Coming up next, one NFL team might be in a win-win and a lose-lose situation all at once in Week 16. We discuss next here on Canty and Carlin, ESPN Radio, and the ESPN app.
This is Keyshawn Johnson from Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Wishing you a happy holiday season from all of us here at ESPN Radio.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
Prairie Gardens' famous Christmas clearance sale is going on now. Save on all the cool Christmas decor you really wanted. Ornaments and Christmas accents are up to 60% off. Up to 60% off Christmas trees, wreaths, and garlands. Save 50 to 60% on Christmas cards, candles, ribbon, and Christmas florals. Hurry in for the best selection and the greatest savings. Prairie Gardens' famous Christmas clearance sale. Going on now. Springfield and Duncan, Champaign.
Switching is easy. We do it all the time. We switch on the lights. We switch TV channels. Some of us switch partners while square dancing. Well, that's a stretch. But what's not a stretch is how you can switch and save with State Farm. In fact, State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow right here in Champaign-Urbana can switch you over so you can start saving today. Kurt and his team are ready to welcome you to the State Farm neighborhood. It's easy to switch and save. Just give them a call when you want the real deal. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Kurt Lehman at Aftershock. What do they do?
We'll start with the cheaper end of it. We do anything from, we print on direct to substrate, so we'll do yard signs, we'll do banners, and then we'll get into doing the die-cut graphics for like fleet graphics, so we'll do stuff for wall graphics, doing stuff like that, and then into where we do, partial vehicle wraps. They can be partial vehicle wraps can be very cost effective, really make the vehicle stand out without covering every inch,
right,
of them.
AftershockDD.com.
If you want a steak, I mean a steak, prepared the way you want it, you've got to go to Long Branch Steakhouse. Hi, it's Jay Lehman. It's been over a year since I was introduced to Donnie at the Long Branch Steakhouse in Gifford. And when I want a great steak, that's where I go. And the sides, the Brussels sprouts, the mac and cheese, and the salad with Donnie's secret frog dressing. Long Branch Steakhouse in downtown Gifford. Open Wednesday through Saturday from 5 to 9 p.m. There's always room for the Long Branch Steakhouse.
If you're looking for a new car, go to Sarah Champaign, because at Sarah Subaru, they have over 100 new Subarus available right now, all with symmetrical all-wheel drive. The Subaru Share the Love event is on, too. With every new Subaru purchased or leased through January 3rd, Subaru will donate $250 to your choice of charities. Sarah Subaru will also donate an additional $50 to the Champaign County Humane Society right here in our community. Visit Sarah Subaru right off Route 45 in Savoy.
Hey, where are you headed?
To Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola.
What do they have there?
What don't they have there? Living room furniture, benches, chests, love seats, sectionals, tables, bedroom sets, hutches, nightstands, end tables, cabinets, mirrors, stools, clocks, lamps, pillows, rugs, desks, media consoles, patio furniture, Tempur-Pedic mattresses, and more.
So, everything.
Yeah, probably could have just said that.
Kelsey Furniture, quality for less.
Now, the NIL jersey lineup for your Fighting Illini. Number 55, Sky Clark. Number 15, R.J. Melendez. Number 10, Luke Goody. Number 20, Ty Rogers. Number 0, Terrence Shannon Jr. And number 33, Coleman Hawkins. Get yours at State Farm Center on game day, online or in stores. Game Day Spirit, official fan store of the Fighting Illini.
There is one name you need to know in car repair in the Central Illinois area, and that's John Marshall. John is the owner of PDR Automotive in Urbana and makes it his mission to know that your car will start when you come to pick it up. John strives for a repair in the most efficient time possible and is the right person to take care of your car. From tires to engine to electrical to the simple oil change. Trust in John at PDR. 1008 North Cunningham in Urbana. John's team will take care of you like family.
Hey, Illini fans, it's Mike Greenberg. Catch Lon, Tay, and Derek Piper weekdays from 4 to 6 right here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Is it Hurst or the team?
All it will provide is bulletin board material. Listen, this is all the smoke right here. Listen, and that's how football is supposed to be.
We have familiarity with, and they have familiarity with us. I'm pretty sure they hate me.
It was a while ago when the NFL made the changes to have a lot of backloaded divisional games, and I think it was a great change for the NFL because we get great games like Eagles-Cowboys coming up Saturday at 4:25 Eastern. This is Canty and Carlin, ESPN Radio, ESPN app, SiriusXM, Channel 80. So also catch us on your smart speakers. I am not Canty nor Carlin, nor is he. I'm Gabe Neitzel along with Randy Scott in for the guys today. And this Eagles-Cowboys game on Saturday, Randy, is an interesting one because the Cowboys seem like they're too far back to catch the Eagles, and they're probably going to end up being a wild card team. But does that mean that this game is now a win-win or a lose-lose for the Cowboys? Win-win being, well, if you win that game, now you obviously have the confidence that even though it's a backup quarterback in Gardner Minshew, that you can match up with the Eagles should you run into them in the playoffs. And then the other side of that being, well, if you lose, you can still win because, okay, we're definitely not going to catch them. Now you're in a spot where you could pick and choose who you want to rest over the final 2 weeks of the season to make sure you're healthy for a playoff run. Or is it a lose-lose in that, well, if you win, you end up, well, this is the team you're supposed to beat with a backup quarterback. But if you lose, now you have zero confidence in potentially beating the Eagles come playoff time. What side are you on? Is it a win-win or is it a lose-lose for the Cowboys?
I absolutely hate this spot for the Cowboys. I hate it. To me, it is a clear, definitive, flawless lose-lose. There's nothing to be gained. I mean, it's outside of them. I don't know, maybe a couple hours on social media of trolling, and Cowboys fans don't need a football game to do that. They do that anyway. I mean, they're the only fan base to tell me to die in a fire, and that was for just spouting stats on SportsCenter, just pointing out that they hadn't won a Super Bowl since the 90s, So, no, this is a lose-lose, and I say that with all the sympathy I can muster here because it's exactly as you said it, Gabe. If they win, they were supposed to win. Who can't beat Gardner Minshew is what Eagles fans would and should say, and if they lose to Gardner Minshew, that's horrible. It's, hey, we'll see you guys. Maybe we'll see you in the postseason. Maybe we'll see you in the playoffs, and we're going to have, the NFL MVP potentially instead of Gardner Minshew. Then you guys are in a lot of, it's Billy Madison playing dodgeball. Now you're all in big trouble. I mean, that's what it is. It's a terrible spot. I don't see how. I truly don't see how it's a win-win unless you're about to argue that it is.
No, I'm not going to argue it's a win-win. I think it's a lose-lose, too, for the Cowboys. It's just an interesting conversation to ask. And another one around this game, because we love to do it in sports radio, it's the what-if game. What if the Cowboys would have somehow survived against Jacksonville last week and they win that game? Does Jalen Hurts play? Do the Eagles feel like, okay, we have to make sure we squash the Cowboys, we beat the Cowboys so they don't feel like they can chase us down and potentially overtake that division? it's because it becomes a lot more interesting if the Cowboys come into this game with 3 losses, beat the Eagles. Now they have 3 losses to the Eagles too. Can they catch them in the final 2 weeks? Would the Eagles stub their toe one more final time coming down the stretch, or would the Eagles hold on to win the division? It becomes a little bit more of an interesting race in the NFC East. Instead, the Cowboys lose last week, and now it just kind of seems like the narrative, and it might be true because of the way they struggled against the Texans the week before, that the Cowboys have maybe been exposed a little bit, and their defense isn't as good as we thought at the beginning of the season, or it's not as good as we thought a couple of weeks ago when they just pasted the Vikings 40-3 up in Minnesota. The Cowboys seem like a team right now that's trying to fight for an identity of, do teams fear us once we hit that wild card round in 3 weeks?
Yeah, that's, Tyler, we had Tyler Fulgham on, our ESPN sports betting analyst, and he had a tremendous point because they're not inspiring fear, the Cowboys are, into opposing offenses the way they were for so much of this season. Their interior run defense has been gashed. They're nicked up in the back end of their secondary. You can attack them in different ways. They're not a funnel defense anymore. And that, when the Eagles are right, when they are healthy, I think is the best way to put it, they can beat you a myriad of ways. And in this way, they're basically, the Cowboys are 2 funnels. You can get them up the middle, through the passing game. You can get them up the middle through the run game. So, yeah, you talk about in inspiring confidence in themselves and inspiring fear in opponents. The Cowboys aren't doing either of those things.
We already know that they're a playoff team. They're 10 wins. They've clinched a playoff berth, and that's always step one. If you're a Mike McCarthy team, win double-digit games, qualify for the postseason, and then try to stack your goals on top of that. Well, the Cowboys have made the playoffs a couple of times with Zeke Elliott on the team, and the Cowboys running back spoke this week saying for him, it's no longer good enough just to make the playoffs.
Love making the playoffs, but like I said, I'm looking to make a run. Made the playoffs before. I want to make a run. You can make the playoffs, and we've seen it losing the first round. I know that does not taste good. It don't feel good. It's almost worse than not even going to the playoffs. So just trying to do whatever we can to get back. The team that this week is, doing what we need to do to get ready to beat Philly, and then just building on that and making sure we're ready to put our best foot forward when playoffs come.
That's certainly the right mentality to have if you're a team that has those aspirations of making a run, getting back to the Super Bowl, as you have pointed out, Randy, since the middle of the 90s. But do the Cowboys have a Super Bowl run in them? Do you think that this is a team that can make a run in the NFC?
I think defensively, if they get healthy and they address, it really is just health. The injuries that they have at the back end of their secondary, as we said, and up the middle in run defense, if they can get those contributors back in time for the playoffs? Yes, absolutely. I refuse to believe that Dak Prescott is suddenly a turnover machine. He has 10 of them since week 7. He has an interception in 4 straight games. Last week, the walk-off interception, the pick 6 to the Jaguars was largely unlucky. But this is as diversified of a ground game as Dallas has had since Dak has been under center. It's not on Zeke the entire time anymore. He does have 7 straight games with a touchdown, with a rushing touchdown, but Tony Pollard is a tremendous 1-2 punch. It's almost like 1 and 1A. So offensively, they have what they need, and defensively, they just need to get healthy. You cannot afford, though, to stub your toe in the wild card round. I think the NFC side of the postseason is going to be crazy. I think it has the potential. I think Tom Brady in a 7-8 win home playoff game hosting Buccaneers team can ruin a double-digit win wild card team season. It might be Dallas if they don't get healthy on the defensive end.
Yeah, that's the scary situation if you end up being that number 5 seed in the NFC. Is as bad as the Buccaneers have been at times this year, as bad as Tom Brady has been in what we saw in the second half last week against Cincinnati. He's still Tom Brady. He still has, that's the guy that was trailing 28-3 in a Super Bowl and came back and won it. That's the guy that has all the history that you have to look on the other side going, man, this is supposed to be our easy game? This is supposed to be the team that we're supposed to roll in, and we have to go and beat the greatest to ever do it at the quarterback position? It's just an unfortunate situation for the Cowboys because they're certainly one of the best 4 teams and seem like they should be hosting a game in the wild card round. But until the NFL changes the way they've done things and go the route of the NBA and just straight seed this thing. Yes, you win your division, you get in. Going on the road and beating Tom Brady is never going to be an easy task in the postseason. And then because you're a wild card team, you'd likely have to then go play the number 1 seed. So the route for the Cowboys is just going to be incredibly hard. And I have a hard time thinking that right now they have it in them to make that deep playoff run. It just doesn't seem like it's certainly possible. Is it possible? Sure. It just seems unlikely given the route they would have to take in order to get to a Super Bowl. Now, if they got to host Tampa Bay, if they got to go on the road and maybe play San Francisco with Brock Purdy at quarterback, it seems a little bit more likely. But they've got the toughest route that you potentially would have to take in the NFC. Coming up next year on Canty and Carlin, one NBA superstar says nobody in his conference strikes fear in him. We'll tell you who it is and what he said. That's after Randy has this from FanDuel.
Football season is heating up, so now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up with promo code PLAY. The app is safe, secure, and super easy to use. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from the money line to point spreads to player props. So sign up today with promo code PLAY for your no-sweat first bet. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
21 plus in select states. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Illinois, and Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342 in Arizona. 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com in Kansas. 1-877-770-STOP Louisiana. 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369 in New York. Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789 in Tennessee. 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia.
This is Keyshawn Johnson for Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Wishing you a happy holiday season from all of us here at ESPN Radio.
The Venture X card from Capital One gives you premium travel benefits, perfect for seeing Taylor Swift the Eras Tour. Presented by Capital One. Oh, I do love her. Earn 5 times miles on flights and 10 times miles on hotels through Capital One Travel.
Enjoy your stay in Suite 13.
Whoa, 13? That's Taylor's lucky number. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
So I switched to Boost Mobile and got this free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone.
Why do you think they call it the Galaxy?
Maybe because the Samsung Galaxy A23 has a huge screen, and galaxies are huge gravitationally bound systems of stars rotating around a supermassive black hole.
And the phone is free?
When you switch to Boost Mobile.
Cool. You lost me at gravitationally bound.
Switch to Boost and get a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone. Boost Mobile. Unleash your power. Limited time offer while supplies last. New customers only. Excludes tax. One device offer per line. Only available on certain networks. 5G not available everywhere. Additional restrictions apply. See your local Boost Mobile store for details.
In an ever-changing real estate market, it's important to work with experienced agents. Russ and Nick Taylor with the Taylor teams at RE/MAX Realty Associates have the knowledge and expertise to get your home sold for the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time. Trust the experience and success of Russ and Nick Taylor with the Taylor team at RE/MAX. Give them a call today at 217-355-0700 or visit them online at taylorboys.com. That's taylorboys.com.
Carl works every day to improve the health of community members across the region, and it would not be possible without team members like Dwayne Linton, a nationally certified nurse in the emergency department at Carl Foundation Hospital.
I work with a team of people who really care about what they do and are very flexible and adaptive in rapidly changing critical situations, and I would trust any of them at any time.
If you're looking for an opportunity to serve your community like Dwayne in a supportive environment, visit carl.org/careers.
Have you heard the news? The Habitat for Humanity Restore has moved to a brand new location at 1914 Glen Park in Champaign, next to Planet Fitness. With convenient parking and over 15,000 square feet of retail space, finding a great deal has never been easier. Stop by to shop, donate, or volunteer and help Habitat continue our mission of building a better community. Come visit the new location at 1914 Glen Park in Champaign or check us out online at cuhabitat.org today.
Prairie Gardens' famous Christmas clearance sale is going on now. Save on all the cool Christmas decor you really wanted. Ornaments and Christmas accents are up to 60% off. Up to 60% off Christmas trees, wreaths, and garlands. Save 50 to 60% on Christmas cards, candles, ribbon, and Christmas florals. Hurry in for the best selection and the greatest savings. Prairie Gardens' famous Christmas clearance sale. Going on now. Springfield and Duncan, Champaign.
If you want a steak, I mean a steak, prepared the way you want it, you've got to go to Long Branch Steakhouse. Hi, it's Jay Lehman. It's been over a year since I was introduced to Donnie at the Long Branch Steakhouse in Gifford. And when I want a great steak, that's where I go. And the sides, the Brussels sprouts, the mac and cheese, and the salad with Donnie's secret frog dressing. Long Branch Steakhouse in downtown Gifford. Open Wednesday through Saturday from 5 to 9 p.m. There's always room for the Long Branch Steakhouse.
It's a magical season at Merle Norman. Shop our limited edition Starry Rosé Shadow Palette while supplies last, featuring 12 matte to metallic shadows for creating day-to-night eye looks. Try 4 new luminous shades of plush lip gloss, a glowing natural rose champagne tone bubbly, sparkling plum, and red luster, all made with hyaluronic acid to keep lips healthy and hydrated all winter long. Magical holiday color collection available now at Merle Norman, 706 West Markview Drive in Champaign over by Subway.
Hi, this is Amanda Jean, the founder and planner of Inspire Your Wedding and Events. It's Inspire Your Wedding Showcase coming to Carmen's in downtown Champaign on Sunday, March 26th from 2 to 5. Join us for the biggest wedding showcase of the year, bringing together vendors and couples from all over Central Illinois. Find out how to learn, connect, and book services to create a magical day. Join us for the premier wedding showcase Sunday, March 26th from 2 to 5 at Carmen's in downtown Champaign. For complete details, visit inspireyour.com. That's inspireyour.com.
Hi, this is Chris Jackson with Kramer Siding and Window. And whatever your project, you can count on Kramer Siding to offer you the best products backed by the best warranties in the business and a lifetime of great customer service. And right now, you can save 10% on roofing, sunrooms, and decks, get 15% off gutter helmet, and you can save 25% on preservation siding, windows, and doors. So call today or visit us at kramersiding.com and let's get started on your project.
Hey, Illini fans, it's Georgia B at Stevie J Broadcasting, and you are listening to the amazing ESPN Radio 93.5.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Steve Lennox. Jaguars and Jets set to kick off Week 16 tonight from MetLife Stadium. Jaguars coming off last Sunday's overtime victory against the Cowboys. Jets have lost 3 in a row. Zach Wilson set to make his second straight start tonight. ESPN Jets reporter Rich Cimini on what Wilson is going to need to do in order to keep that starting role.
I think he's going to have to make to quote Robert Saleh, make the easy look easy. We saw last week he did a great job on his downfield passes. You know, just really the high degree of difficulty passes he did well on, but he missed the short and intermediate passes.
Rich Cimini on ESPN Radio Sports Center all night. Jalen Hurts is out for the Eagles' road matchup on Saturday against the Cowboys. Gardner Minshew is going to make his first start of the season. Eagles need just one more victory to clinch the number 1 seed in the NFC playoffs. Knee injury will keep Lamar Jackson on the sidelines for a third straight game. Tyler Huntley will get the starting nod for Saturday's game against the Atlanta Falcons. Saints announcing receiver Chris Olave is not going to play against the Browns this weekend, and Jarvis Landry has been placed on injured reserve.
Hi, this is Keyshawn Johnson from Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. All of us here at ESPN Radio would like to wish you a happy holiday and a happy new year.
Countdown to the NBA on Christmas Day.
Christmas is my favorite time of year.
5 consecutive games on ESPN and ABC beginning at noon Eastern, and an ESPN Radio doubleheader at 4:30 Eastern. The Bucks and Celtics followed by the Grizzlies and Warriors. The NBA on Christmas Day on ESPN Radio.
Christmas is here, and it's my favorite time of year.
Some believe
believe that that's when the NBA season starts, is on Christmas Day. Always a big day for the NBA. A couple of games right here on ESPN Radio. 5 games across ESPN and ABC on television as well. It's Canty and Carlin, ESPN Radio, ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. I'm Gabe Neitzel along with Randy Scott. And taking a look at those matchups, one of the biggest ones there, Celtics-Bucks, which is going to be a game right here on ESPN Radio, Randy. And it's interesting because these are the 2 top teams in the East, but right now, at least, 30 or so games into the season, both have pretty obvious flaws when you take a look at these teams and the way that they've played.
Yeah, and I look at the Celtics and I think their defensive rotations need work. I think their defensive intensity at times needs work, which is a little bit troubling because Al Horford is supposed to be a steady hand out there, and it's tough to grade them defensively considering they just got Robert Williams back in the lineup, and he is their rim protector. I mean, he is one of one within the Celtics lineup, but defensively they have shown remarkable propensity to just lapse in key spots. They're slow out of the gate. They rely on stops in the fourth quarter. It's just a dangerous way to make a living. Offensively, though, they've been transcendent at times. And what we've seen is the offense kind of come back to the pack. The offense has gone from like an A-plus level to an A-minus level, and that has cost them some games. Jason Tatum didn't play on Sunday against the Magic. They dropped their second straight in Boston against the Magic, and then they lost to the Pacers last night. So that's 3 straight home losses for a Celtics team that has now fallen from the 1 seed in the East and fallen behind Milwaukee. I defer to you, though, on Milwaukee. What's the one clear flaw there for the Deer?
So Chris Middleton's been missing for a good chunk of the season. He's their number 2 scorer. He's a talented defender, gold medal winner, has been to a couple of all-star games in the NBA. So him coming back certainly is going to help them. But it seems at times they're just kind of disinterested to start games. Take last night's game, for example. They're on the road taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers, a young up-and-coming team in the Eastern Conference. And they just kind of seem disinterested in the beginning of the game, find themselves down 15 points at the end of the first quarter. So because Giannis and Drew Holiday and all those guys are competitors, they try to fight their way back into the game, but it just seems they come out flat. They're not coming out ready to go for each and every game, which is, again, over the course of an 82 NBA game, an 82 game NBA season is bound to happen, but it happened against the Grizzlies a couple of, last week as well, and they end up losing that game in blowout fashion on the road. So right now the Bucks just, depending upon the night, seem disinterested. I'm guessing that doesn't happen because this is a showcase game and a showcase time slot of the NBA's Christmas Day schedule. This is what a lot of people are expecting to be the Eastern Conference Finals showdown between these 2 teams after having a great Eastern Conference semifinal series last year. So my guess is the Bucks come ready to play come Sunday afternoon when they take on the Grizzlies at 5 p.m. Eastern right here on ESPN Radio.
It's a fun matchup. I mean, they've locked horns in the postseason. 3 of the last 4 seasons. They're plenty familiar with each other. And Celtics fans will tell you that finals run last season, the one opponent that scared them the most really was Milwaukee because Giannis, he just gets off the bus with 35. He has, and not just against the NBA, but specifically against Boston. Boston did not have an answer for him, and it was just try to survive this Giannis onslaught, and trying to do that over the course of 7 games was just absolutely brutal. So it'll be a nice renewal of pleasantries. I'm looking at elsewhere on that slate. I'd say that Warriors Grizzlies game. I really don't care that Golden State is 15-18. It's more for me the problem that Steph won't play in that one. Because I think the Grizzlies could absolutely hang a $120 on the Warriors right now, the way they're going.
So Ja Morant has been playing fearlessly, is having a great season, and the Grizzlies have one of the best records in the Western Conference. Last year had the second best record in the Western Conference. And he had a sit down with ESPN's Malika Andrews, and she asked him the question on who scares him in the NBA, and this was Ja Morant's response.
Who do you look at around the league as you're studying and say, we're going to have to run through them?
Celtics.
No one in the West?
Nah, I'm fine in the West.
Oh.
Whoa.
Okay.
That is, whoa. He is fine in the West, he says. And that is, I mean, okay, I like the confidence, but at the same time, I don't know if you want to be putting that out there, especially after last season when they had a really tight series that they ended up winning in 6 games over the 7th-seeded Timberwolves in the opening round before being dispatched in 6 games against the Golden State Warriors. And the Warriors are beat up and not playing as well. And as you mentioned, are 15-18 right now. And we'll get that matchup on ESPN Radio at 8 p.m. Eastern on Christmas Day. But that is one heck of a statement to throw out there if you're John Morant.
I'm trying, you love to hear it. You want the face of your franchise to be respectfully swaggy. And he is that, right? Like, he has that club in his bag. Like, he has the confidence. He knows that he can take over a playoff series. Golden State knows that John Morant can take over a playoff series, but he does so not in a way that's, it's not dismissive. Like, we could play that back. It was 10 seconds. He's just like, no, I'm good. He's not specifically pointing out other teams and being like, Phoenix is trash. The Pelicans are unproven. The Lakers are old. The Clippers are hurt. Like, there are flaws with every, contender to the throne in the West. There are flaws that could derail, forget about a playoff run, they could derail a season. Who in the West, if you are John Morant, who scares you? Who scares you in the West? Because we know right now, sitting a couple days before Christmas, it's not the defending champion Golden State Warriors.
No, it can't, because they're just too beat up right now. They hadn't even been playing their best basketball before that. I understand where he's coming from. But at the same time, it just seems like an awfully bold statement for a team that I think when you look at it, you go, okay, they have John Morant, but what else do they have? In a playoff series, who else are they going to go to with Ja? And look, I mean, Ja has gotten them to the second best record last year in the West, and it's a similar situation this year. But I also take a look at that team, and it feels like they're missing something. Do they fear Denver? I don't feel like Denver has been feared, despite having the back-to-back league MVP.
Right.
So
right.
I kind of understand where he's coming from at the same time.
I can tell you right now. So Denver's the 1 seed right now. They get in on percentage points, or even I guess a tiebreaker on Memphis. What Memphis has, Memphis is the toughest team in the Western Conference. They are the toughest team in the Western Conference. Now that Jaren Jackson is back, he is. They call him the Block Panther. He led the league in blocks last season. Like, Triple J is the truth at the rim. They have Steven Adams. They have the muscle to make you uncomfortable. And looking specifically at Nikola Jokic, these two played the other night, and Jokic didn't want that smoke. He didn't want to shoot. He was a facilitator to the basketball. It's fine. He was coming off of a night where he had 27 rebounds, but that was against Charlotte. Charlotte's Charmin compared to what Memphis rolls out there on a nightly basis. Memphis is getting, they're going to get Bane back to 100%. They're going to get Brandon Clark back to 100%. They have offensive outlets for a guy in John Morant who is the prototype for a drive and kick point guard. So they have the shooting that LeBron James wishes he had. So I believe in Memphis being the most complete team. They are just so young and unproven. That's why I love a young leader stepping up and making that statement.
What do you make of John Morant's comments, and who should the Grizzlies fear? We turn to you, and you can give us a call on that Dr. Pepper call-in line, 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. You tell us next right here on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Hi, this is Max Kellerman from Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. All of us here at ESPN Radio would like to wish you happy holidays and a happy new year.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. I'm your friend's lucky jersey that's never been washed, and I'm stanking up the back seat, overpowering all of your senses, so you don't see the brake lights up ahead. And if you have cut rate car insurance, you're going to be all out of luck. So switch to Allstate, save $744, and get protected from mayhem like me.
Average annual savings of new customers surveyed in 2021 who reported auto savings when switching to Allstate. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
CSX Transportation is an industry leader on the move. The railroad company has immediate openings for freight train conductors. Join the CSX team and start your paid-on-the-job training today, earning nearly $25 per hour with no degree required. If you're safety focused with a passion for great service, you've got what it takes to move your career forward at CSX. Apply at csx.com/careers. That's csx.com/careers. CSX is an equal opportunity employer.
If you're in the market for a new car battery, you could go to one of those big box stores, except there's no guarantee you'll be served by an actual car expert.
Clean up in aisle 3.
You could pick a battery off the shelf, except it might be close to expiring. Or you could just come into Interstate. Don't make a big box store blunder. With competitive prices and a more personal, reliable approach, Interstate Batteries is the clear-cut choice if you want to guarantee yourself a new and trustworthy car battery. They're open and ready to serve you at 2504 North Mattis Avenue in Champaign.
If you're looking for a new car, go to Sarah Champaign, because at Sarah Subaru, they have over 100 new Subarus available right now, all with symmetrical all-wheel drive. The Subaru Share the Love event is on too. With every new Subaru purchased or leased through January 3rd, Subaru will donate $250 to your choice of charities. Sarah Subaru will also donate an additional $50 to the Champaign County Humane Society right here in our community. Visit Sarah Subaru right off Route 45 in Savoy. At the Long Branch Steakhouse, you know about the incredible steaks cooked to perfection. But did you know you can have your own private holiday or Christmas party at the Long Branch in Gifford? If you have a company party that you're planning, you can rent the whole place on a Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday night. To plan your event between 25 and 50 people, call 217-568-7722. We did it. It was fabulous. The Long Branch Steakhouse for your Christmas or holiday party. Limited nights are available. Call 217-568-7722.
Now, the NIL jersey lineup for your Fighting Illini. Number 55, Sky Clark. Number 15, R.J. Melendez. Number 10, Luke Goody. Number 20, Ty Rogers. Number 0, Terrence Shannon Jr. And number 33, Coleman Hawkins. Get yours at State Farm Center on game day, online or in stores. Game Day Spirit, official fan store of the Fighting Illini.
Don't you just love the Christmas season? Me too. The preparation, making list, shopping list, grocery list, travel list, and checking them twice. The excitement in the children's eyes when they recite their never-ending Santa's wish list. And how it changes, depending upon which relative is listening. And my most delightful moments are the family get-togethers. We prepare the entire season for the celebration of the birth of our Savior, Jesus Christ. Hear the stories, feel the excitement, and be a part of His family get-togethers. Attend church services of your choice. Listen to the messages. Jesus will guide you. And for our friends and family in nursing homes and retirement villages, attend your weekly prayer services. Jesus welcomes you to His house, and He's been expecting you. Merry Christmas.
PDR Automotive in Urbana has been providing quality auto repair service for almost 50 years. Trusted by AAA Motor Club, PDR employs ASE certified technicians that use the latest in diagnostic equipment. They offer nationwide warranties and are even authorized to perform vehicle maintenance that won't void your factory warranty. Check them out 24/7 online at pdrauto.com. When you turn the key and the car won't run, call 367-9481. They are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
Kelsey Furniture in downtown Tuscola sells Tempur-Pedic beds. What's it like?
I'm going to tell you right now, Stevie, that thing is the best thing I've ever slept on in my life. My wife and I both have said we've never had better night's sleep. And the people at Kelsey's were fantastic. Brian is the guy that helped us. You know, as much as I did my research, he had a world of knowledge about beds themselves. Oh, man, it's like sleeping on a cloud, man.
Kelsey Furniture, downtown Tuscola. You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
The Christmas clearance sale is going on now. Save on all the
Christmas
cool
Day,
Christmas
NBA
decor you really
doubleheader.
want. Ornaments and Christmas accents are up to 60% off. Up to 60% off Christmas trees,
Giannis leads the Milwaukee Bucks into Boston to face Jason Tatum and the Celtics. Then in San Francisco, Klay Thompson and the Warriors welcome John Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. Coverage of the Bucks and Celtics begins at 4:30 Eastern, followed by the Grizzlies and Warriors. Christmas Day on ESPN Radio, ESPN.
If you're looking for a new car, go to Sarah Champagne, because at Sarah Subaru, they have over 100 new Subarus available right now, all with symmetrical all-wheel drive. The Subaru Share the Love event is on too. With every new Subaru purchased or leased through January 3rd, Subaru will donate $250 to your choice of charity. Sarah Subaru will also donate an additional $50 to the Champaign County Humane Society right here in our community. Visit Sarah Subaru right off Route 45 in Savoy.
Want unbeatable prices on your next furniture purchase, but also seeking that local hometown feel? Look no further than Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola. Customers rave about their friendly, established staff, as well as their great selection, amazing prices, and second-to-none delivery service. They're a third-generation local business, and they've always got your best interests at heart. Find the look you love for less. Open 9 to 5, Monday through Saturday, but always available online at KelseyFurniture.com.
Over 20 bowl games, right up to the College Football National Championship.
Magical gifts have arrived at Merle Norman. Head to your holiday shopping headquarters for prestige skincare and makeup favorites, pre-boxed and ready to give. Shop magical gift sets for lips, cheeks, and skin while supplies last. Choose from 3 lip sets featuring plush lipstick and lip liner duos, a 4-piece set for cheeks, and a curation of self-care favorites for ageless skin. Magical gifts are available for a limited time only at Merle Norman, 706 West Market View Drive, over by Subway.
Ring in the new year at Pia's with me, Diane Ducey, as your DJ, with prizes, watching the ball drop in New York City with the countdown, party favors, and champagne. They're known for their drink specials at Pia's, plus the great food and party atmosphere. It'll be awesome saying bye-bye to 2022
None of the pressure
and
is on
hello
us.
to
No matter who's
2023
playing quarterback
with your
this
friends
weekend
at Pia's
versus
Sports
Dallas.
Bar and
No,
Grill.
I mean, you're
No
right,
cover,
Freddie,
no need to get
because Gardner
fancy. Just
Minshew,
have fun.
first and
Pia's
foremost,
1609 with
is an
Springfield
experienced
Avenue for
quarterback.
New
This
Year's
is not a
Eve.
backup who's never played before. You go back to last season, last December, when he had to fill in for Jalen Hurts, a scenario that he might have to do again this Saturday. And on top of that, this is an Eagles team that built itself a nice lead in the NFC East and really in the NFC playoff picture. All they need final 3 games is to win one of them. They lock up the NFC's number 1 seed. Dallas, on the other hand, they clinched a spot in the postseason because the Commanders lost last week. So that never feels good.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Sit back and relax and take the drive with Lonte and Derek Piper. Weekdays 4 to 6 right here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Rewards members can earn bonus points on select products and brands like Power Pro, Weehaw, and Valspar. Then redeem your bonus points for exciting rewards like tools, sports memorabilia, Lowe's e-gift cards, and more. Join Lowe's MVP's Pro Rewards today to start earning. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Subject to program terms. While supplies last. Points expire at end of calendar year. Visit Lowe's.com/L/Pro Loyalty terms for details. Now through 1/8/23.
Yo, Pablo Torre here, host of the ESPN Daily Podcast. When you want to go beyond your feed, when you want to get inside the score, when you want to get behind the highlight, there's ESPN Daily. Go deeper into the stories of the moment. Get the exclusive access and insider perspective that only ESPN can give you. ESPN Daily, hosted by me, Pablo Torre. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcast.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Steve Lennox. Eagles coach Nick Sirianni announcing earlier today Jalen Hurts set to miss Saturday's game against the Cowboys. Gardner Minshew is going to make the start at quarterback. Eagles need one more win to lock up the number 1 seed in the NFC. Dak Prescott for the Cowboys, 2 interceptions in last Sunday's overtime loss on the road against the Jaguars. So is the pressure mounting for Dak Prescott with the Cowboys? ESPN's Bart Scott.
But all of a sudden, Dak is struggling, and 8 of his 11 turnovers has been in their own minus territory, which sets up that great defense not to look so great. Listen, the pressure is on, and Dak Prescott, because he's losing his ability to be able to run and extend plays, because I believe because of the injuries are starting to catch up.
Prescott, 10 interceptions since returning from a thumb injury in Week 7, most in the NFL during that stretch. Eagles did beat the Cowboys at home back on October 16th. Saints receiver Jarvis Landry has been placed on IR. Rookie receiver Chris Olave is going to miss Saturday's game with a hamstring injury.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options, an easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
If you haven't take problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but a Chris ain't one. Hit me.
Now, from the ESPN studios in New York City, this is Canty and Carlin on ESPN Radio.
The snap back to Zach Wilson. He's pressured again. He's chased to the right. Mac Wilson in pursuit. Now Wise closes. A throw downfield.
Yes!
Intercepted. McCoy's got another.
Develop him. Mike LaFleur, spend the time with him. Talk to him. Communicate with him. Support him.
As much as we want to compliment Coach Saleh and what he's done with his team, he deserves just as much criticism for what he's done in this quarterback room. The QB musical chairs weekly, like, you're the starter this week, you're the backup, you're not dressing. No, you start this week. I think he realizes he's mismanaged this and hasn't supported him, and you have a window now to get behind him.
This kid's going to be a good quarterback. The NFL and this new instant coffee world that we're in just does not want to give people time.
Big game for the Jets tonight at 7-4. Just 3 weeks ago, it looked like they were locked to make the playoffs. They've lost 3 straight. Now they're on the outside looking in, but taking on a team on Thursday Night Football in Jacksonville who's trying to win their own division. Should be a fun one tonight. We discuss right now on Canty and Carlin, ESPN Radio, ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. I'm Gabe Neitzel. He's Randy Scott. We are in for the guys. And if hearing that Monday Night Football music doesn't get you jazzed to talk about football, I just can't help you. Like, that just gets me. I hear the bum, 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 and I just get in the mood to talk football. I just get really excited about it. And the conversation surrounding the Jets right now is all about their quarterback. We know they've got a really good defense. They've got some fun weapons offensively as well, but can their quarterback get those weapons, the football, efficiently? Because we've seen Mike White out there. We've seen him have some success. But then he has the rib injury that he suffers against Buffalo, and Zach Wilson has to play last week and isn't as efficient as he needs to be, has a pretty crippling interception that he throws. And this Jets team just doesn't seem the same with Zach Wilson on the field versus Mike White and Jordan Poyer, Bill's safety. Tuesday, right here on this very program, Canty and Carlin noticed this and had this to say about Mike White and the Jets.
I think that whole team, they play with a lot more energy at a lot higher level when Mike is back there. He plays with confidence, whether he's throwing for 400 yards or he throws 2 or 3 picks in a game. He still comes back and continues to play with confidence. That's not taking anything away from Zach. I think Zach's a good young quarterback that's got some lessons that he's got to learn. But at the same time, I think that team, they did feed off Mike White's energy. And, hell, I got a lot of respect for him being able to take some of the shots that he took in that game and then be able to come back and fight for his team. So he's definitely got my respect. They fed off each other a lot more. They play with a lot more energy, and they played at a higher level.
That's a heck of a thing to say about the discrepancy that the Jets play with Mike White versus Zach Wilson. And I know that Poyer tries to save it in the middle, like, but he's still, he's still going to be, Zach Wilson's still going to be a pretty good quarterback. But when the opposing team, Randy, is noticing the energy difference that an offense plays within their division between two quarterbacks,
yeah,
that's to me is a big red flag on Zach Wilson.
It's funny that they're not, they're not trying to disrupt. This isn't like a misinformation campaign against, the one of their threats in the division. Like, they look down on the Jets right now, and they look at it and they're just, you can trust what Poyer's saying. I mean, he's picking up on it as a defensive player, and he's saying that as someone who has reason to sort of, not fear, but at least respect this team when Mike White inspires that energy. I didn't play football at any level whatsoever. I can't break this thing down in terms of, they run different, this concept and this, whatever else. I watched the game. I see production. I see efficiency on offense. I see easy plays looking easy. I see tough plays looking somewhat easier than they should with Mike White. And I just see mistake-laden football, with Zach Wilson. And where you can tell that his teammates like him and rally around him, you see the T-shirts that they made for Mike White. Like a week after he got the starting job, Mike Bleepin' White T-shirts Braxton Berrios was wearing. And you can also see, so there's a video out today. Zach Wilson got his offensive line scooters as a holiday present. And you can tell looking at this young man that he did this out of obligation. The video's on all sorts of social media. It's out there. When you look at his face, he is not like, there's the body language is not of someone who's like, hey, I want to take care of my guys. I'm doing the right thing. It was, I felt like I had to do this.
Yeah, and maybe that's because you see other pictures and videos. I know one that's been going around is Patrick Mahomes, with the golf club manufacturer that he works with, was able to hook up all of his offensive linemen with new sets of golf clubs. And you see this all the time around Christmas with quarterbacks getting their offensive linemen, things like that. But chemistry can be maybe overblown from time to time, but it's a real thing. It's a real thing within winning organizations where you have that camaraderie that you want to play for one another. You want to play for each other. You want to go out there and put your best effort out there. And that quarterback position, being the leader on the field, if the team feels that way, it's going to show. And obviously it has. That to me, I don't know how you fix that if you're Zach Wilson. I honestly don't know. Like, you can work hard and go to your personal quarterback coach during the offseason and work on decision making and accuracy and physical things on the football field.
Yeah.
But if your teammates don't feel like they want to play for you, I don't know how you fix that problem. And that certainly seems to be a problem within the Jets.
It's either a culture change or it's a location change. It is. That's how it has to be. It does not help Zach Wilson that Mike White is so likable. That it is just not a good omen. It's not a good harbinger for Zach Wilson's time in New York. You cannot go from being the guy to the afterthought, because of how galvanizing Mike White has been. It's why the quarterback position, though, is paid on the way that it is. I truly believe it is the most important position in sports, but not all of that is because of what you do on the field. It has to be how you command the offense in and out of the huddle, crunch time, 2-minute drills, 4-minute offense, quick change, sudden change. You have to have eyes on you and a belief in what you are telling them to do. You put the marching orders in place. Yeah, you might be getting them from the sideline or the skybox, but you have to be able to command a room of any size. It's either the quarterback room and how small that is, the offensive meeting room, however larger that is, or the most important room in terms of actual impact on the field, the huddle. The literal huddle is its own room that you have to be able to command, and you can tell that Mike White does that better in a much smaller sample size, but still does that better than Zach Wilson.
Yeah, the part that really sticks out for me in that Poyer comment is that, even if he throws 2 or 3 picks, like, you can see those guys are out there playing for him. You can see Mike White has that energy. He's not, coming out there moping. He's still coming out there, still thinking he can make plays and sling it around. And even if he makes a couple of mistakes where you don't have that same feeling, it seems, for the New York Jets when Zach Wilson is under center, which is, it's unfortunate if you're a Jets fan, because again, at 7-4, you have Mike White. He had been playing pretty well, even played pretty well against in that, in the Vikings game in which they lost. They were so close to winning that one, and even played pretty well despite getting the crap kicked out of him and taking a couple of the big shots that he did against the Bills. If you're a Jets fan, my guess is you're sitting there today going, I don't know how I feel about our team now on the outside looking in, trying to chase their way into the postseason, especially with the games that are now laid out in front of them and how important they're going to be for tonight, Jacksonville, end of the season, Miami.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, if you look at the Jets right now, the ground that they have to make up is not insurmountable because you have the Patriots in front of them. Right now, the Jets are the 9 seed. Jaguars are actually the 10 seed, and Jacksonville is favored to go and overtake Tennessee and take the divisional playoff spot that would come with the AFC South. But the Jets, it is all out in front of them, and they're not asking. They're in a fortunate position to be able to rely on their defense, rely on their ground game, even after the loss of Breece Hall. Zonovan Smith has been a revelation for them. They can play sort of ugly, muck-it-up throwback football and hold water until Mike White gets back. They just need Zach Wilson to not, it's one thing to, you don't have to bring a lot to the table. You just can't take things off of the table when you get there. They need Zach Wilson to stop taking things off the table.
We asked you, and what team should John Morant fear in the Western Conference? And now, what we're going to do is we're going to ask an NBA expert. That's coming up next. ESPN Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 80.
This is Keyshawn Johnson from Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Wishing you a happy holiday season from all of us here at ESPN Radio.
Football season is underway, so now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. Just sign up with promo code PLAY. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from the money line to point spreads to player props. So sign up today with promo code PLAY for your no-sweat first bet. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
21 plus in select states. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Illinois, and Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona. 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana. 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com in Kansas. 1-877-770-STOP Louisiana. 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 in New York. Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789 in Tennessee. 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia.
Fridays, I help you get ready for the weekend. The biggest stories of the week, as only First Take can present them. We start at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Greeny.
Everything is part of the problem in Tampa, including him. He's not the worst player on their team, but he's no longer the best either. And I don't know who is because they're so bad. They're unwatchable.
Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio.
SEC Network heads back to Atlanta to cover Georgia in the college football playoff semifinal at the Peach Bowl. Start your New Year's Eve at 9 a.m. with Marty and McGee, followed by SEC Nation. Then experience the Peach Bowl through Georgia's hometown radio call. And finally, wrap it all up with SEC football final. All-day coverage starts December 31st at 9 a.m. Eastern on SEC Network and streaming live on the ESPN app.
Coming up on Friday, we'll have all the reaction from Jets and Jaguars kicking off a big weekend, Christmas weekend in the NFL. Plus, we get you ready for the unofficial start to the NBA season, Christmas Day. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, 6 a.m. Eastern Time on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
It's a beautiful time for basketball.
It's the NBA on Christmas Day. I'ma take my shot and make it fade away. Stacking up these wins like I'm LBJ. Splashing with my buddies like I'm Stephen Clay. Hey, it's the NBA on Christmas Day. Sitting courtside, I feel like I might call it play.
It's NBA Christmas Day. 5-star studded matchups beginning at noon Eastern on ESPN and ABC. Presented by State Farm.
The undefeated and second-ranked Michigan Wolverines go head-to-head with the 12 and 1/3 ranked TCU Horned Frogs at the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. The college football playoff coverage begins New Year's Eve at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN. Presented by Dr. Pepper.
With one of the best savings rates in America, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Slash to be in your band.
Next up for lead guitar. You're in.
Cool. Yep, even easier than that. And with no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One and a member FDIC.
So I switched to Boost Mobile and got this free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone.
Why do you think they call it the Galaxy?
Maybe because the Samsung Galaxy A23 has a huge screen, and galaxies are huge gravitationally bound systems of stars rotating around a supermassive black hole.
And the phone is free?
When you switch to Boost Mobile.
Cool. You lost me at gravitationally bound.
Switch to Boost and get a free Samsung Galaxy A23 5G phone. Boost Mobile. Unleash your power. Limited time offer while supplies last. New customers only. Excludes tax. One device offer per line. Only available on certain networks. 5G not available everywhere. Additional restrictions apply. See your local Boost Mobile store for details.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-326-7765 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-326-7765. That's 800-326-7765. What do you have to lose? Call 800-326-7765. Again, 800-326-7765.
To the NBA on Christmas Day. 5 consecutive games on ESPN and ABC beginning at noon Eastern, and an ESPN Radio doubleheader at 4:30 Eastern. The Bucks and Celtics followed by the Grizzlies and Warriors. The NBA on Christmas Day on ESPN Radio.
Christmas is here, and it's my favorite time of year.
Always seems like a celebration for the NBA on Christmas. 5 big-time matchups, as you heard, across ESPN, ABC. A couple of those games right here on ESPN Radio as well. This is Canty and Carlin, ESPN Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 8, and the ESPN app. I'm Gabe Neitzel, along with Randy Scott, and we're getting ready to break down some of those Christmas Day games with Shanae Ogumake, ESPN basketball analyst. Shanae, thank you for joining us. What game of those 5 on Christmas Day are you looking forward to the most?
It's funny, I'm going to steal a line from Kendrick Perkins and say, first and foremost, we're looking forward to the Christmas food and also the Christmas gift. and then after that, of course, the game that I'm probably looking forward to the most is the Celtics and Bucks matchup, just because you have one preeminent MVP in Giannis Antetokounmpo and then one rising MVP in Jason Tatum. And the Celtics have really been slumping, as of late. I think they just got that, like someone said, the dog days of December are hitting them. And I don't know what the weather is like in Boston or Connecticut or New York, where you guys are at. I don't relate because I'm in Los Angeles, where it's still beautiful. But I do think the dog days are hitting the Celtics a little bit harder. And so to see Jason Tatum sort of rise up to the occasion against someone that is averaging Giannis Antetokounmpo 31 and 11, that to me is must-watch basketball.
You used to know what Connecticut was like, Shanae, before you defected. And you went
I served my time, 5 years, served my time.
Serve my time, Shanae Ogumake.
I mean, that's just, it's kind of rude, isn't it, Shanae? You come on the show. No. I felt like I was cordial, Randy, at the beginning. Look, I have to leave this show in 45 minutes. It's going to be sub-zero temperatures here in the state of Wisconsin with the biggest snowstorm we've had so far this year. It just seems unnecessary that you decide to rub it in my face, Shanae.
Cold season, cold world, baby.
Shanae doesn't care. She does not care.
Nope.
All right.
Not even a little bit.
I was going to say I miss you, Shanae, and I don't want to lie to the people.
I do miss you, though. I really miss the jokes and everything.
We used to have fun when we were friends. All right, so now, John Morant. We're going to play a little 10-second clip, okay? This is John Morant sitting down with your co-host there on the NBA, just all sorts of programming with Malika Andrews, and she asked him who scares him in the NBA. Listen to what Ja had to say.
Who do you look at around the league as you're studying and say, we're going to have to run through them?
Celtics.
No one in the West?
Nah, I'm fine in the West.
Janae, he says he's fine in the West. What do you think of what he had to say?
He's not lying. He's not lying. In the West is a hot mess right now, just because, with the exception of the Grizzlies, right? You think about the Nuggets surging and what Jokic has done, like that's great. But when we think about people that have earned championships that we say in a premier way, are threats, like the Lakers or the Clippers or even the Warriors without Steph, I don't think the Grizzlies and Ja are worried about them. Maybe more so the rising tide of young players. Like there's 2 categories that I always break down in the West. You've got those top teams, right, or like the historically great players with Steph, with LeBron, with Kawhi Leonard. But then you've got a great rising crop of Ja and Luka and Jokic, right? And so it's kind of interesting because I've always said, because people ask me the same question about the Celtics, like, can they win a championship? I was like, their biggest threats are the Bucks. And so that once again brings the answer back to the East. So I understand what Ja is saying, but Ja likes to keep it spicy. He always says, like, they run up the chimney because they want all the smoke. So I like this, and I like that he's sort of putting the league on notice, saying, like, we want to be the ones coming out the West because we see that health and availability is the most important thing, and I think they're primed for that this year.
Shanae Ubike, ESPN basketball analyst, joining us here on Canty and Carlin, ESPN Radio. So Grizzlies were the 2 seed last year in the West, got bounced in the Western Conference semifinals. Right now they're the 2 seed and could be the 1 seed as well. What potentially could stop the Grizzlies from making a run to the finals?
I think it's what we just witnessed from last year's playoffs, and that's the Golden State Warriors in one of my favorite books, Catching Fire. Do you guys read that one? Or is it your kids? More jokes. But, Hunger Games and all that type of stuff. Because the playoffs are the Hunger Games. And the Warriors catching fire the way they did. Klay Thompson averaged 20 in the series, getting himself to a championship. Steph, finals MVP. Wiggins played his best basketball. Poole was a bucket. Draymond doing what Draymond does, just poking the bear. Like, we saw that all come together where they were on the floor just the right amount of time leading into the playoffs that brought them a championship. So I would be worried about a team like that if all their stars were healthy, and you're going to have to play them at home. If they steal a game on the road and then they go home, like we've all seen the split, they're like 300 on the road so far this season. But once you enter Chase Center, the energy is different. So I think the Warriors, to me, are still, they're favorites, but even though they're not playing like defending champs right now.
Janae, I want to focus on Kevin Durant and awareness. You know what I mean? Like, you are aware of being a menace when you join us on the show in a supposedly friendly conversation. Kevin Durant is aware. This is on the Nets not playing on Christmas Day. He goes, there's probably some people, especially with how the Knicks are playing and the way we're playing right now, I feel like that would be the perfect matchup on Christmas. Hopefully we get that going forward. But yeah, I'm probably responsible for us not playing on Christmas with what went on this summer. But hey, it is what it is. Basically saying, like, there are people who didn't know I'd still be on this team on Christmas, so they weren't going to schedule the Nets for Christmas Day basketball. Is that awareness, or is that just a humble brag on KD's?
Look, I think it is a humble brag, but also I think this is weirdly a good thing for the Nets, because I was going to say this on air today, like, no more drama, way more buckets, because they've had no drama lately, and they've gotten way more buckets flying under the radar. They've been 11-1 in their last 12 games. During this span, they've had the best offense in the NBA. The numbers that Kevin Durant, he's shooting 65% from the field during this span, like 50, 40, 90s on steroids also for Kyrie. And so you look at what they're doing, they're not missing. They're playing great basketball. And I think Christmas Day, I would have loved to see a New York Knicks team that was just streaking versus a Kevin Durant, Kyrie team where they are literally dominating. I would have loved to see that, but maybe long-term, flying under the radar, getting to the playoffs with a little bit of synergy, finally getting Ben going, getting that perimeter shooting there, finding a defensive identity, maybe sneaking into the playoffs. Maybe you want to make your real noise when it really counts instead of, having the street cred or the humble brag of being on Christmas Day.
Janae Ogumake, our guest, ESPN basketball analyst, helping us break down things, getting ready for Christmas Day across ESPN and ABC here on Canty and Carlin, ESPN Radio, ESPN app. You brought up the Warriors, and maybe they're the team, as you said, that could catch fire and be a threat to the Grizzlies. But can all of the Warriors' issues be attributed to the injuries that they've had to go through in this early part of the season?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like, I'll never forget when they came and they went to play Orlando, and everyone's like, oh, what do you think is going to happen in this game on the road? And I was like, have you been seeing what Paolo Banchero's doing coming into the league?
Yeah.
Have you seen them dogs and those young players? Like, they want to get one on the defending champs. And ever since then, it just seems like, teams are realizing that, hey, we can sort of they won a championship, but we can knock them off and sort of get in their heads in a way that we've never seen happen with the Warriors before. So I think that this is largely a situation that has been blown out of proportion basketball wise. They know how to play basketball. They know how to defend. They know how to have good offense, but sometimes things get in your head. And that also, the most important thing is what do you signal to your opponent? You signal that, like, hey, there's blood in the water, and the Sharks are out hunting the Golden State Warriors on the road. And I think that's, like, two sides of it that people don't really understand. So the Warriors, they need to figure out, like, they need to get quality wins on the road just for, like, the mental psyche so that they can show up consistently, because you don't want this happening, when they get in the playoffs.
Janae, we appreciate the time. I hope you get to have all the Christmas food that you want. I hope you get all the Christmas presents you were hoping for. And
Thank
I hope
you.
you enjoy all the NBA games on Christmas Day across ESPN and ABC.
I appreciate y'all. Y'all know I was joking. I love you guys. Most of the time, kind of, sort of, not really.
Happy New Year, Janae.
Happy New Year. Bye, you guys.
Janae Ogumike, ESPN basketball analyst. Again, she has no remorse. And I'm not saying she should, but, she just kind of came in here, decided to dunk on us, Randy, and maybe we deserve to be dunked on.
No, we didn't deserve it. Oh, no. No, we did not deserve it.
I disagree.
We did not deserve it. However, wait, who disagrees? Get at peanut gallery in there, just chirping away. But Janae will flex on living in LA, man. It's a different world out there.
I guess good for her. I'm happy for her. Not jealous at all. Time to make some money, give up some props. That's coming up next. Canty and Carlin, ESPN Radio, and the ESPN app.
Countdown to the NBA on Christmas Day.
Christmas is my favorite time of year.
5 consecutive games on ESPN and ABC beginning at noon Eastern, and an ESPN Radio doubleheader at 4:30 Eastern. The Bucks and Celtics followed by the Grizzlies and Warriors. The NBA on Christmas Day on ESPN Radio.
Christmas is here, and it's my favorite time of year.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. Thinking about gas mileage? If your check engine light is on, it may be affecting your MPGs, but the free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help. With the most complete free warning light report backed by technician verified fixes, you'll know what's affecting your gas mileage and more, and you don't have to drive too far to find the fix. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service is available at all 6,200 stores.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
See details at AutoZone.com.
The Venture X card from Capital One gives you premium travel benefits, perfect for seeing Taylor Swift the Eras Tour. Presented by Capital One. Oh, I do love her. Earn 5 times miles on flights and 10 times miles on hotels through Capital One Travel.
Enjoy your stay in Suite 13.
Whoa, 13? That's Taylor's lucky number. The Venture X card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Prairie Gardens' famous Christmas clearance sale is going on now. Save on all the cool Christmas decor you really wanted. Ornaments and Christmas accents are up to 60% off. Up to 60% off Christmas trees, wreaths, and garlands. Save 50 to 60% on Christmas cards, candles, ribbon, and Christmas florals. Hurry in for the best selection and the greatest savings. Prairie Gardens' famous Christmas clearance sale. Going on now. Springfield and Duncan, Champaign.
In an ever-changing real estate market, it's important to work with experienced agents. Russ and Nick Taylor with the Taylor teams at RE/MAX Realty Associates have the knowledge and expertise to get your home sold for the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time. Trust the experience and success of Russ and Nick Taylor with the Taylor team at RE/MAX. Give them a call today at 217-355-0700 or visit them online at taylorboys.com. That's taylorboys.com.
PDR Automotive in Urbana is a locally owned repair shop, and they've now serviced over 250,000 vehicles in their near 50-year history. Now, that's more than 4 times the size of a sold-out Memorial Stadium. It's more than all Division I athletes in the country combined. That's more than the entire population of Champaign County. That's more than, well, you get the idea. When you turn the key and the car won't run, call 367-9481. They are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
Prairie Gardens' famous Christmas clearance sale is going on now. Save on all the cool Christmas decor you really wanted. Ornaments and Christmas accents are up to 60% off. Up to 60% off Christmas trees, wreaths, and garlands. Save 50 to 60% on Christmas cards, candles, ribbon, and Christmas florals. Hurry in for the best selection and the greatest savings. Prairie Gardens' famous Christmas clearance sale. Going on now. Springfield and Duncan, Champaign.
Like most banks, we offer an app that lets you do pretty much everything you need from your pocket. But at Iroquois Federal, we believe great banking is less about the app you tap and more about what you tap into. And for us, that's a hometown bank where decisions are made locally by the same folks you'll bump into on the bleachers at the next big game, providing the hometown touch that's made us part of the community for nearly 140 years. Iroquois Federal. Still friendly, still local, still here. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, Illini fans, it's Mike Greenberg. Catch Lon, Tay, and Derek Piper weekdays from 4 to 6 right here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
And this Saturday.
Right.
And on top of that, this is an Eagles team that built itself a nice lead in the NFC East and really in the NFC playoff picture. All they need the final 3 games is to win one of them, and they lock up the NFC's number 1 seed. Dallas, on the other hand, they clinched a spot in the postseason because the Commanders lost last week. So that never feels good.
At Lowe's, every pro is an MVP to us. That's why MVP's Pro Rewards members can earn bonus points on select products and brands like Power Pro, Weehawk, and Valspar. Then redeem your bonus points for exciting rewards like tools, sports memorabilia, Lowe's e-gift cards, and more. Join Lowe's MVP's Pro Rewards today to start earning. Bonus points calculated before taxes and fees after applicable discounts, if any. Subject to program terms. While supplies last. Points expire at end of calendar year. Visit Lowe's.com/L/ProLoads for terms for details. Now through 1/8/23.
Yo, Pablo Torre here, host of the ESPN Daily Podcast. When you want to go beyond your feed, when you want to get inside the score, when you want to get behind the highlight, there's ESPN Daily. Go deeper into the stories of the moment. Get the exclusive access and insider perspective that only ESPN can give you. ESPN Daily, hosted by me, Pablo Torre. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Steve Lennox. Week 16 of the NFL regular season underway tonight with the Jets home against the Jaguars. Zach Wilson is going to make his second straight start for the Jets, who enter on a 3-game losing streak. ESPN NFL analyst Damian Woody on the Jets' approach with Wilson.
Players understand that the young man is struggling a little bit. He's in his second year. He's still trying to figure out the pro game. And I think if I'm in the locker room as a teammate, the one thing I want to do is, what can I do to help that young man out? How can I elevate my game to make the game easier for him?
Jaguars on a 2-game win streak. Trevor Lawrence is going to start despite a sprained toe. Lawrence, 7 touchdown passes over his previous 2 games and just 1 interception over his last 6 games. Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts is going to miss Saturday's road matchup against the Cowboys. Hurts right now dealing with a right shoulder sprain. Gardner Minshew is going to get his first start of the season. Lamar Jackson is out again. Tyler Huntley is going to start again for the Ravens in their home matchup on Saturday against the Atlanta Falcons. Reds and Will Myers agreeing on a 1-year deal worth $7.5 million. That from ESPN's Jeff Passan. Reds today also designating Micah Moustakas for assignment.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business's needs. From quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options, Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
We're not afraid to tell you when we got something right. Wow, you were right. Or wrong. That was terrible. It's time to give props.
Give Props brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. Right here on Canty Carlin, ESPN Radio, ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. I'm Gabe Neitzel along with Randy Scott. We've got a list of prop bets for tonight's Thursday night game between the Jets and Jags. And to help us run through them all, we bring in Evan Wilner. What's going on, Evan?
All right, so let's go. This is my favorite one. I do it every week to start. Who will score the first touchdown tonight in Thursday Night Football, Randy?
I only think I really do think there's just one touchdown tonight. I really do. So first and only, maybe? God, that's a great question. I'll go with Travis Etienne. It's chalky.
Dang it, you took mine.
It's chalky. No, dude, pile on. It's not right. I haven't been right on these in a while. I think it's going to be in the passing game. I think Etienne is going to be involved in the passing game a lot more. So I'd also take maybe his his prop yardage over, but I think it's going to be a receiving touchdown for Travis Etienne.
Yeah, I'm with you on Travis Etienne. It just makes sense to kind of lean on the running backs with the way the weather is supposed to be at the Meadowlands. It's supposed to be windy, supposed to be rainy, and when that type of inclement weather rolls through, it just screams to me, rely on the running backs. And Jacksonville seems like a team that's, I think Jacksonville wins tonight, so I lean towards them scoring the first. And if you're right, only touchdown, so I'm going to go Etienne as well.
Yeah, Etienne plus 375. The Jets running back Zonovan Bam Knight at plus 460. Trevor Lawrence, over under 1.5 touchdown passes. I know where Randy's going. He's going under. So, Gabe, over under 1.5 passes for touchdown passes for Trevor Lawrence.
Also under on this one. That's just such a good pass defense for the Jets. And again, add in the inclement weather that's happening for New York. I am going under on 1.5 touchdown passes tonight for Trevor Lawrence.
Same. Going under. Feel like it's going to be low scoring. Low scoring, though, is not going to mean field goals. I don't think we're going to see anything longer than about a 30 to 35-yard chip shot if need be. I think it's going to be under, and I think it's going to be Travis Etienne.
All right, this number seems really high, but I'll ask it anyway, Randy. Over under 30.5 pass attempts for Zach Wilson.
Under. No way. No, it's Bam Smith is going to tote the rock plenty. That is how you attack Jacksonville.
Bam Knight.
What did I say, Smith?
Yeah.
My bad. The Bam Knight. And
Bam Smith, him too. He's going to get a bunch of carries.
Everybody's getting carries. I think it's going to be a ground attack for the Jets. Take the ball out of Zach Wilson's hands. Hopefully don't make many mistakes.
Given the weather, again, I keep coming back to the weather, but also Jacksonville has struggled a bit against the run defensively. It just does not make a ton of sense for Zach Wilson to be dropping back and throwing a ton of passes tonight. I'm going under as well.
All right, will Zach Wilson throw an interception? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Even on the limited attempts. Yeah. Even on limited attempts. So, hey, Gabe, I look at this and I see that he had 35 attempts last week against the Lions, and otherwise you got to go all the way back to October when he had 41 against the Patriots. Otherwise, he hasn't cleared that number. So I feel pretty safe with that attempts. But I also think windy, I think he's not going to have as much control. I could see a tip or something get away from him. So, yeah, definitely interception.
Yeah, he decides to try to go up top early. Ball just kind of floats, gets away from him, ends up in the arms of a safety. Seems to be, I feel pretty good about yes on an interception on this one.
It's so embarrassing. I mean, it is plus money for him not to throw an interception. Same for Trevor Lawrence for that matter, but it is literally plus 139 for Zach Wilson to not throw an interception.
Wow.
All right, I know the answer to him. You're going under on 192.5 passing yards, right? Everyone's going under?
Yep.
All right.
On Zach Wilson, yep.
Yeah. Bam Knight, over under 59.5 rushing yards, Gabe.
I'm going to go over on this one. They're going to have to move the ball somehow, and Bam Knight seems to be the way to go. Again, Jacksonville has struggled against the run, gave up some rush yards last week against the Cowboys in what was a shootout. So, to me, yards have to come from somewhere. We're not just going to be under on everything, so I'm going over on the 59.5 rushing yards for Bam Knight.
What about Bam Smith, though?
I'd take the over on him. I'm taking the over on everybody who's a running back.
On Bam Smith. Yeah, I'll take the over for exactly that reasoning. I think it's the safest way to move the football tonight, and it's going to be on the ground for the Jets, possibly the rest of the way until they get Mike White back. So I'll take over 59. Matter of fact, I'd maybe mess around with some alt rushing lines here for Bam Knight. I wonder what the odds are for maybe 70. If he goes 70 or over, if you can get plus 100, plus 150, something like that, I'd take that too.
Let me check that out and come back to you on that one. Meanwhile, over under half a carry for Bam Smith.
Under.
Over.
Over. Nice.
Everybody's getting touches tonight on the ground.
Speaking of,
it's going to be like Bills Patriots last year.
It might be for the Jets. It may be three pass attempts for Zach Wilson tonight. Travis Etienne, over under 86.5 rushing plus receiving yards, Randy.
Oh, that's such a good number. You said 86.5. I'll go over because I think he gets to about 60 receiving yards. So I don't think there'll be efficiency on the ground, just maybe enough to keep to keep the Jets honest. I think he's going to do his damage through the air. So I'll say over.
Yeah, with the wind blowing, it seems like the safe bet would be to get some of those passes into the flat to guy who's one of your better athletes in ETN. I'm going over on this one as well, but I'm with you. It was a really good number, and it's when I saw the lists that Evan had put up on my screen, this is the one I had to think longest on, but I will go over here. Because, again, the yards have to come from somewhere.
So for Bam Knight, plus 140 is the alt rushing yards at 70-plus rushing yards. So plus 140. Not a high enough number to go there.
Okay.
All right, last one. Garrett Wilson's longest reception will be over or under 22.5 yards, Randy.
That's such a perfect number. I'll take the over because I think there could be some catch and run opportunity. There could be a bubble screen, could be something like that. Jacksonville does not have the Jets' pass defense at all. So I'll say that they are gettable through the air on, the average, like the ADOT average distance, air distance over targets, whatever that is, it'll be close to the line of scrimmage. So a catch and run is in the offing. I still take over.
Yeah, I'm going to take the over on this one as well. I think they're going to find a way to get the ball in Garrett Wilson's hands because he is one of the more explosive offensive weapons. Only had 4 receptions last week, and I understand you're not going to be pushing the ball down the field like you did last week against the Bads Lions secondary, but 4 catches for 98 yards last week. I think he finds a way to break at least one for over 22.5 yards. So that will do it for our giving out some props here on Canty and Carlin. Coming up next, we're going to go over some key NFL stories that we've missed throughout the course of today's show. That's 3 and Out. It's next on ESPN Radio.
This is Keyshawn Johnson from Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Wishing you a happy holiday season from all of us here at ESPN Radio.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-285-2521. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-285-2521. 800-285-2521. 800-285-2521.
Hey, Illini fans, Jets Pizza is hiring both full and part-time team members. If you enjoy people and you're looking for a fast-paced, high-energy job, then Jets is the place for you. Need some extra cash? Starting pay is $12 an hour, and there's potential for promotion based on attitude and performance, and you'll get a good employee discount. The hardest part of the job is being around that amazing aroma of the homemade pizza sauce. Drive for Jets. Be a part of the Jets family today. Apply online at jetspizza.com. Jets Pizza, better because it has to be.
Loud and clearly better. Good vibes. Good vibes.
Hi, this is Steve from Good Vibes.
And this is Luke Goody from your men's basketball team.
So, Luke, how's the rehab coming along?
Pretty good. The doctor says I might be cleared earlier than we thought.
Hey, that's great news. I know it's got to be tough for a player like you to ride the pine or the couch.
Yeah. Let's say I wanted a bigger, better TV while I'm recovering. What can I do on a college student's budget?
Luke, we go straight to Sony at every level, especially now with holiday pricing. You can get a 65-inch Bravia screen and stay in 3 figures. Sony's all about image quality, so their mid-grade models look better than the other guys' step-up sets.
I'm still pretty gimpy. Can Good Vibes deliver a 65-inch Sony and set it up in my place for under $1,000?
Absolutely, even after sales tax is added, and that's for the mid-level, not even the cheapest one. And for what it's worth, Good Vibes is a Sony warranty station, so in case anything goes wrong, we come to your place and take care of it. You won't get that from Amazon or Best Buy.
Maybe I can trade them for some basketball tickets? Kidding. Just kidding.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better? or create something new. Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Updated COVID vaccines are here, just in time for the season that brings us all closer. Just in time for added protection against the original COVID virus and Omicron. Just in time for crowded stores and great big family dinners. Updated COVID protection is here. And if you haven't had a vaccine since September, it's time to give yourself the gift of updated protection. Find updated COVID vaccines at vaccines.gov. We can do this. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hey, Illini fans, it's Georgia B. Catch my boys Lante and Derek Piper weekdays from 4 to 6 on The Drive. Boom, boom, brr.
Of water has arrived. Experience the motion picture event of a generation.
This family is our fortress.
Witness the next chapter of the global phenomenon.
We must protect the people.
From director James Cameron.
This is only the beginning.
Avatar, The Way of Water. Rated PG-13. May be inappropriate for children under 13. Now playing only in theaters. Tickets on sale now.
The College Football Playoff on ESPN Radio. The undefeated and second-ranked Michigan Wolverines go head-to-head with the 12 and 1/3 ranked TCU Horned Frogs at the Verbo Fiesta Bowl.
Could easily get back and forth. That's going to be a fun matchup just because of the offenses.
Number 2 Michigan versus number 3 TCU. Presented by Dr. Pepper. Coverage begins New Year's Eve at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN. You can also listen on the ESPN app and on your smart speaker. Mike Greenberg is Greeny.
And he's just flat out had a bad year. All year long, he's just been running around looking for someone to yell at, when the reality is that person is easy to find. He's in the mirror. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that Kyle Shanahan is looking at next season and thinking, here's what I need. Sign a 46-year-old Tom Brady and we'll win the Super Bowl. I genuinely think that Shanahan will have better options.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Plus, you can watch and listen on the ESPN app. Sometimes it's the worst. Sometimes it's the best. Either way, we'll get you straight with everything you need to know. This is 3 and Out.
Canty Carlin, ESPN Radio, ESPN app, Sirius XM, Channel 80. I'm Gabe Nuts along with Randy Scott. Some 3 NFL stories that we haven't touched on quite yet here on the show. Before we get out of here, we begin with the Titans. We've been talking a lot about the team that's playing tonight, trying to catch the Titans and the Jaguars, but the Titans very likely are going to be without starting quarterback Ryan Tannehill for the remainder of the season due to a right ankle injury that's likely to require surgery. That's according to sources that confirmed that to ESPN on Wednesday. So my question to you, Randy, after the start of the season by Tennessee, and now Jacksonville nipping at their heels, is Mike Vrabel on the hot seat for the Titans?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There should be no reason for him to get docked for having to compete. Actually doing a tremendous job competing in the AFC with quarterbacks like, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert. And he's rolling out there and getting the 1 seed with Ryan Tannehill as his quarterback? No, they should build him a statue. He shouldn't be on the hot seat at all.
I'm with you. It's wild because 1 month ago he was the front runner to win Coach of the Year, because you look at the roster and you're going, wait, how are they winning that many games? How are they still in the chase to have a top seed in the AFC that's now cooled off with this losing streak that they're on? But the defense is good. The offense is lacking weapons, and now Ryan Tannehill is hurt. Maybe it's good for them to get a better look at Malik Willis and try to figure out what that position looks like going forward for them. But Mike Vrabel should not be on the hot seat. I think they really like him in Tennessee. I think he's got a bit of a longer leash for the Titans. Moving on to story number 2, Tyler Huntley is going to be starting at quarterback for the Ravens in place of Lamar Jackson for Saturday's game against the Atlanta Falcons. That was announced today by their head coach and John Harbaugh. Harbaugh expressed no concern over Huntley's right shoulder injury, which made him limited in Wednesday's practice. This is going to mark the third straight game that Jackson has been sidelined with a knee injury. How do you feel about the Ravens' chances of holding on to a playoff spot in the AFC without Lamar for the third straight game?
Oh, man. I feel lukewarm. I feel tepid about it. I look at the playoff picture in the AFC, and 9-5 will get you 9-5 will get you one of the wild cards, okay. But nipping behind you, man. I mean, the Chargers are right there. The Dolphins are right there. I'd worry about the Jets and the Jaguars. Like, I don't know. I'm losing enthusiasm. I'm losing steam. And maybe it's because we've also seen what the, quote unquote ceiling is right now on the Ravens with Lamar Jackson. And it's a shadow. It's a whisper of what it was in the last couple of seasons. So even with Jackson coming back and being 100%, as though this injury never happened, they're not a threat in the AFC.
This kind of makes me wonder if Baltimore's front office, with what's happened the last couple of seasons, and them not giving Lamar Jackson the contract extension that he wants, and now he's set to be a free agent. My guess is he ends up getting the franchise tag. But does this almost justify the way that they feel? Because the same thing happened last year with Baltimore, where Lamar got hurt. Tyler Huntley played well, but they lost some games down the stretch, and they ended up missing the postseason. So I'm wondering if they're sitting up there going, yeah, this is why we didn't want to put all the eggs in the Lamar Jackson basket, because he hasn't been able to consistently stay healthy to get us into the postseason.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing, again, that story play out once again. By the way, I would be one that would sign up quickly for a Lamar Jackson extension. I would put all my eggs in the Lamar Jackson basket, even if that ended up getting me fired as GM.
I'll tell you who has to stay healthy, too, is Tyler Huntley right now. I mean, it's not his fault he got a concussion against the Steelers. It was a vicious hit. But quarterback, protect thyself right now, because behind you is Anthony Brown. And Anthony Brown is a rookie out of Oregon, and he may be a tremendous NFL quarterback one day, but he has as many starts at quarterback right now as you and I do, Gabe. And with your playoff hopes starting to look a little bit more tenuous, like, let's go ahead and keep the backup turned starter in that starter role.
For a team that had a pretty bad Sunday, things have been going well for the Washington Commanders since then. Had a great viral video with their Pro Bowlers over the week. And now defensive end Chase Young is going to be playing for the first time this season, more than 13 months after he originally injured his right knee. Young is going to be playing a limited role for the Commanders when they play San Francisco on Saturday. Pivotal game, though, for Washington. They're trying to hold on to that 7th and final playoff spot with 3 games remaining in the NFC. My question for you, Randy, is do the Commanders hold on to that 7th and final playoff spot in the NFC?
They do. That tie is going to loom absolutely large. I think the Giants lose this week. So then if Washington wins and the Giants lose, they tie each other. The Giants would hold a tiebreaker head-to-head, but the Seahawks are behind them. Seahawks have to play the Chiefs this week. Like, you can start looking at opponents and start to forecast who has more winnable games. This is not a winnable game for Washington, however. I do think Brock Purdy is throwing hospital balls right now. I love the story. I love the fact that there's no game film on him, so he's sort of catching people by surprise. He's underthrowing his receivers. He is throwing behind his receivers at times, throwing off his back foot. He's getting high on his own supply. And it's going to come back to bite him, and it might happen against a Washington defense that's better than people are giving him credit for.
Yeah, look, I think that could be where he comes crashing down to earth, but the way the San Francisco defense has been playing, it's still going to be a bad matchup for Washington. It could end up just being a physical slugfest with these two defenses. I still trust San Francisco more than I trust Washington at this point, so I'm with you that I think the Commanders fall to 7-1 with a loss at San Francisco, and then that makes things really interesting where does Detroit suddenly factor into this playoff picture as they try to chase down the Commanders? Same thing with Seattle. The NFC playoff picture, I don't think it happens, but if Green Bay somehow beats Miami, then they're legitimately into that conversation as well. NFC playoff picture, that last playoff spot is certainly one to keep an eye on. This has been Canty and Carlin on ESPN Radio, ESPN app, and the SiriusXM Channel 80.
Anyone who has ever needed self-storage knows what a hassle it can be. You have to rent or borrow a truck and then find someone to help you move your stuff. And let's face it, moving furniture and heavy items without damaging them isn't easy. Renting the unit is worse. The hidden fees and admin costs are scarier than the dingy facilities you're leaving your stuff in. Why not use Closet Box instead? Closet Box is self-storage without leaving home. They'll pick up your belongings, store them securely, and bring any item back when you need it. The best part? Unlike traditional self-storage, you only pay for what you store. No paying for unused storage space. Closet Box's background check storage movers are licensed, bonded, and insured and will take care of all of the heavy lifting. Closet Box's local storage centers are temperature controlled and monitored 24/7. Closet Box has an A+ rating from the BBB. Call 877-233-5696 now for the season's best rates. Get $50 off first month storage using code RADIO50. That's 877-233-5696. 877-233-5696.
Coming on Friday, we'll have all the reaction from Jets and Jaguars kicking off a big weekend, Christmas weekend in the NFL. Plus, we get you ready for the unofficial start to the NBA season, Christmas Day. Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, 6 a.m. Eastern Time on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
It's a beautiful time for basketball.
It's the NBA on Christmas Day. I'ma take my shot and make it fade away. Stacking up these wins like I'm LBJ. Splashing with my buddies like I'm set to play. Hey, it's the NBA on Christmas Day. Sitting courtside, I feel like I might call it play.
It's NBA Christmas Day. 5-star studded matchups beginning at noon Eastern on ESPN and ABC. Presented by State Farm.
Fridays, I help you get ready for the weekend. The biggest stories of the week, as only First Take can present them. We start at 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat with Jason Fitz.
One of the most difficult parts about Thursday night football is trying to figure out how to analyze the result. I mean, if you're the Jags, you need this win. The Jags right now should win the AFC South. There's no doubt about it. Given the injury to Ryan Tannehill and the fact that Malik Willis is going to be starting for the Titans, that's clear to me. But now you've got to go to New York in the middle of weather that could be an issue, and you've got to take on a Jets defense that is great. That seems to play to the defense. So what do you do if you're the Jets and you're trying to analyze the result for Zach Wilson? You don't just need Zach Wilson to go out and play games. You need to figure out if Zach Wilson's any good in the process. This is almost like a wasted opportunity because you're actually getting the chance to see Zach Wilson against a good team, maybe not a great team, but a good team, and the weather becomes the ultimate thing that will stop you from being able to analyze any of it. It's rare that we get a lose-lose out of a win-win. In tonight's game, a win when you get two teams that are clinging to their playoff life, two teams with so much to play for. But the lose-lose is, out of all of it, it's going to be hard to actually have any take based on what we see. In 60 seconds, one take that now may be necessary in Tennessee.
Are you kidding me? Gas prices are up again? Somebody has to do something.
Well, someone did. That's why I use Upside.
Upside? What's that?
It's a free app that pays you back real money for every gallon of gas or diesel you buy. I just earned 25 cents back on every gallon of this tank.
Hold on. So the Upside app is free and you actually get cash back every time you use it? No strings attached?
Yep, it's awesome. Check it out. It only takes a couple of minutes to sign up.
Instead of just watching your dollars go into your tank, start putting money back into your wallet with the free app from Upside. With the price of gas today, it's big news and big money. To cash out of your Upside cash, just transfer it to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card. Upside users have already earned over $200 million. Now it's your turn. Download the free Upside app and get cash back on every gallon of gas. Use promo code GAS11 for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's code GAS11. Use code GAS11 for an extra 25 cents per gallon back in your first fill-up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
What are the realistic expectations for the Titans? Because I understand that people like to say what they want to say about Ryan Tannehill not being any good. Ask yourself this. If you're the Titans, would you rather have Ryan Tannehill or the fourth best quarterback in this year's draft class? Because where the Titans are going to be picking, it's likely a discussion between, do you want to give Malik Willis a shot or Anthony Richardson? And can you honestly tell me either of those names give the Titans a better chance at winning a Super Bowl than Ryan Tannehill? I understand his playoff disappointments, and I understand there are moments that have been huge that he hasn't played well. There have also been moments in Super Bowls where Mahomes hasn't. Maybe looking at what the options are should be part of the context conversation around the quarterback that Tennessee currently has. with the ESPN Radio Sports Beat.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.